Okay, so the topic of discussion today, inshallah ta'ala, is how to overcome depression, sadness and heartbreak. Okay? And depression, sadness and heartbreak is a disease that some people they suffer from. And it's something that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam acknowledged, and Allah Azza wa Jalla and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us solutions for this. You see, pain and suffering is a part of life. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We created the human being in a state of turmoil. You know, you and me, we're gonna alternate between good times and bad times. Okay? Now, in the good times, we know we have to be grateful. The bad times, we have to remain in and be patient. But that feeling of pain and that feeling of heartbreak, that feeling of grief, that feeling of distress, that feeling of anxiety, how do you get it to pass? Some people, they actually suffer from clinical depression. And I believe that Allah knows best, but a lot of those problems can be cured by the solutions that the Quran and Sunnah that they outline. Some you brothers, done obviously the dumbness of getting involved with a girl who ended up breaking your heart. I know for a fact there's at least a handful of you brothers that have been spending some, intimate nights with your pillow, crying to sleep every night because she left you. Sisters the same way, done something stupid, started chatting to a guy who ended up breaking her heart. How do you overcome this pain? Or if you end up doing that stupidness one day and you fall into it, may Allah protect you, how will you overcome that pain? How will you get out of the sadness? That's what I want to talk to you about today. Now you see, when you look at the Quran and the Sunnah, there are three terms for sadness, for depression, that they use. There's the term al-huzn, okay? There's the term al-ham, and there is the term al-gham. These are three terms that are used generally to describe when a person is depressed. Like they mean different things, okay? You see, sometimes people are sad when it comes to things that happened in the past. They keep replaying them over and over in their mind. Like a guy who his girl, she left him. A guy who got violated, hurt by someone in the past, okay? The Sharia, it calls it what? Al-huzn. It calls it grief. You grieve, someone died, it happened in the past, but you still live in it today. You're living in the past like it's now. And what do? You grieve over it. This is called al-huzn, okay? Sometimes we become scared, we become anxious, we become distressed and depressed about things that are going to take place in the future, worrying, stressing about them. This, in English, you call it anxiety, and in the Arabic language, we call this al-ham. And then you have people who are in a state of depression due to things that are taking place right here, right now. You actually have a pain and a problem that's actually overcoming you right now. You're in pain right now because of something that's actually in the present. Maybe it's a sickness that you have. You have a disease. Maybe you're possessed. Maybe you're broke. Maybe what? You got attacked, beaten. This in English we call it distress. And in the Arabic language, we call this al-gham. So al-huzn is grief, that's in the past. Anxiety is al-ham, in the future. And distress, which is the present, this is what? Al-gham. Remember these three terms. And the Sharia has a solution for all of these types of pains that a person may go through. Now it's important that you understand that these three things, distress in the present, grief in the past, anxiety in terms of the future, which are all types of depression. These three pains that a person feels and the sadness that a person feels, where is it located? Who can tell me? For a Milky Way bar. Go on. In the brain? Whoa, that's what the kuffar tell you, bro. I want to see hands. Sisters, where is it located? Someone. Where is anxiety? Where is distress? Where is grief located? Where is it in the person's body? Sisters don't want a Milky Way. Go on. In the heart, my young brother. Barakallahu feek. In the heart. So these are pains that are in the heart. So then the treatment that you need for this depression, this treatment is a treatment of your heart. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you what the cure is. I'm going to read a statement to you. And this is the only cure. And some of you may have heard it before. And it hasn't touched you in the past. And it hasn't helped you get over your depression. But today, by the end of today, you're going to learn how to take this statement that we all know so well and how to actualize it and allow it to be a means of us feeling much better, inshallah. There is no cure for the pain that you feel inside of your heart except returning back to Allah Azza wa Jal truthfully. You have to come back to Allah. And not only coming back to Him, now you have to be in a state of remembering Him, honoring Him, magnifying Him, and building your heart upon Tawheed. Tawheed means the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jal. The oneness in terms of His worship, you only worship Him. The oneness in terms of His lordship, you only take Him as a Lord. And the oneness in terms of His names and His attributes. Not just that, but it's only Him, Allah, that you seek refuge from. Only Him that you show that you're needy. You don't need people. Don't need things from people. You only need from Allah Azza wa Jal. And you humble yourself before Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. You belittle yourself before Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to the extent that the pain in your heart will now go. That's right. Building your heart upon Tawheed, remembering Allah, turning to Him, seeking refuge from Him, needing Him. These are the things that you need to build in your heart, and because of it, the pain and the stress and the depression, it will all go. You're going to ask me how? What's the relationship between putting Allah's love in my heart and Allah's, remembrance in my heart, my mind? How's that going to take away my heartbreak that I feel? We're going to talk about it, inshallah ta'ala. But that right there is a solution, and there's no other solution. You can go to any psychiatrist or psychologist that you want. They're going to give you from some counseling sessions, they're going to give you some pills. It's not going to solve the problem. It's just going to give you side effects. This right here is a solution to the problem that we're suffering from. And that's why I want to teach you something that encompasses this whole statement that I just mentioned to you. If you do this one thing, it will build the Tawheed of Allah in your heart. It will cause you to always remember Him. It will cause you to always rely on Him. It will cause you to always be humble in front of Him, needy before Him, and not rely upon anyone else. And it is something that we call a dhikr. Dhikr means remembering Allah, supplicating to Allah, calling upon Allah. If you do it, and you do it properly, it will take the pain away from your heart. What's the evidence? Look what Allah Azza wa Jalla said. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنَّ قُلُوبُهُم بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Allah said, the ones who they believe, their hearts have what? They become at ease and at rest due to the remembrance of Allah. Then Allah said, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. Allah said, it is because of the remembrance of Allah. It is what? Unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, that the hearts, they find peace. The hearts, they find relaxation. Wallahi, my brother and my sister, if you're not happy in life, and you're depressed in life, and you're smoking weed, you're taking drugs, or what, you're running to things like filthy things online, you're running towards other secondary things to drown the pain that you're in, it's because you're a person, you don't remember Allah. And you might say, but I pray, and I read my tasbih, and I read my tahmeed, and I do this, and I do that. But you're not doing it properly. You're not doing it correctly. You're not a person who's doing it with remembrance. Today, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to teach you 5 adhkar, 5 statements that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. 5 ways to remember Allah. If you memorize these 5, and you learn these 5, and you understand their meaning and what they require you to do, you will never be sad in life again. You will be in a constant state of happiness until you meet your Lord. No one can make you sad after that. You can lose all of your family members and friends around you. Everyone around you can go. You can lose your riches. You can lose your wealth. But as long as you have this, you will always have a smile on your face. The Prophet ﷺ went through more pain than any of us could have ever imagined. He lost his mum and his dad. His dad, he never even saw him. His mum, when he was only a few years old. Then his grandfather, who took care of him, he died. And then his uncle, who took care of him, dies. And his wife, Khadija radiallahu anha, dies. And then his son dies. His other son dies. Then his last and final son dies. And then then what does he do? His daughter Zainab dies. He has to bury her with his own hands. And then imagine, your children are just dying. He goes to the Battle of Badr. He wins. Such an amazing victory. Imagine how happy he must have been, only to come back to Medina to find that his other daughter's dead. And then his other daughter died. And then he sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. And between that, he got physically attacked, physically abused. And like him, brothers, sisters, the Prophet ﷺ had the most peaceful heart. He had the most content heart, because he was one who remembered Allah. And he used to say these things that I'm going to teach you today. And he didn't just say it. He didn't just say a mere utterance of them. Rather, what is it? When he said it understanding what it is that it means. He said it understanding what it is that it means. And this is a very important point that I'd like to touch up on with you. Is that one of the fundamental reasons why we do not feel a sense of, like even when you pray, some of us we pray, and you're like, prayer is supposed to be that spiritual high, so I don't have to go to drugs. But why am I not feeling it? When you read the Quran, you're told the Quran is what? أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. It's supposed to bring peace and ease to my heart. But I can read the Quran and I don't find peace in my heart, rather what my mind is elsewhere. And you're telling me, but I've got heartbreak. I'm in pain right now. And you're telling me, just say some words to remember Allah and the pain's going to go away. Shall I tell you why it doesn't work for you? There's a statement from the ulama that I'd like to read to you. إِنَّ الْإِتْيَانَ بِالْأَذْكَارِ الْمَأْثُورَةِ وَالدَّعْوَاتِ الْمَشْرُوعَةِ. That when it comes to these remembrances that have been narrated, and when it comes to these du'as that the Prophet taught us to make in the Sharia, okay, if you make them be دُونِ عِلْمٍ بِالْمَعْنَى, if you make these du'as and you don't have knowledge of what it is that they mean, وَتَفَقَّهٍ في دلالة, and you say them and you don't understand what it is that they indicate towards, what happens? ضعيف التأثير. The effect that these du'as are going to have on you is going to be very weak. قليل الفائدة, and you're not going to benefit much from it at all. There's not going to be much benefit. Why? Because it's just words that you're saying. Like if I brought a Christian here and I told him to say La ilaha illallah, it means nothing for him. It doesn't have an effect. He just repeated it on his tongue. Why? Because he doesn't know what it means. He doesn't know what it indicates. He doesn't know what it requires from him. And that's why Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen rahmahullah ta'ala, he said a person who does dhikr, he says, reads Quran, he prays his salah, he mentions these things, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. He says these things, but he doesn't ponder over what he's saying. It's like a body that has no soul. It's like a corpse, a dead person. He doesn't have a soul inside of him. That's what it's like if you're saying these statements and you don't understand what they mean and you're not pondering over them. The first thing, before I go into the first of these 5, I need to mention to you is that every single one of these statements, one thing that they all have in common, even though they all are slightly different, but there's one common factor that brings them together, is that they all connect you to Tawheed, which is to worship Allah alone and not to worship anyone else besides Him. Like, and if you don't know Tawheed, and you don't study Tawheed, you don't learn and study books like Al-Qawaid Al-Arba' and Kitab Al-Tawheed and so on and so forth, and you don't know Tawheed in within itself, then no wonder why these things, they're not going to have an effect on your heart. You can't come, Tawheed is the basics of the whole deen. You know what I'm saying? Doing these du'as to get rid of depression and sadness, that's step 2, 3, 4. The first thing is to know who Allah's rights are, to worship Him alone. And if you don't know that, then it won't have much effect, but I'll try and mention as much of it as I possibly can. And in summary, what is Tawheed? It's that you worship Allah alone and that you obey Him alone. When Allah tells you to do something, you do it. You don't question. You don't listen to what? Your parents, if they tell you shave your beard, when the Prophet and Allah told you to grow the beard. You don't listen to your parents when they tell you don't wear the jilbab or the abaya. Why? Because Allah and His Messenger ﷺ told you to cover like that. You don't listen to what? Your girlfriend when she told you come lick me because Allah said you're not allowed to do that. You obey Allah and you worship Him alone, and you only obey Him alone. Without any further ado, let's start the first dhikr, the first remembrance that was taught to us by the Prophet ﷺ. The hadith is in Al-Bukhari and Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ يقول عند الكرب, he used to say whenever he was in a state of distress. I told you, what was the Prophet's distress? His daughter's dying, his son's dying, his wife dying. These were the kind of distresses the Prophet ﷺ was in. Like كان يقول عند الكرب, he used to say when he was in a state of distress, لا إله إلا الله العظيم الحليم. He used to say there is no one worthy to be worshipped in truth except Allah, Al-Azim, the mighty, Al-Halim. Then he used to say La ilaha illallah again. Then he would say Rabbul Arsh Al-Azim, He is the Lord of the mighty throne. Then he would say La ilaha illallah again. He would say Rabbus Samawati wa Rabbul Ardi wa Rabbul Arsh Al-Kareem, the Lord of the heavens and the earth and the Lord of the throne again. Now, how is it, I want you to understand today, that if you repeat this, knowing what these words mean and what they require from you, it will take your heartbreak and sadness and pain away in a second. Now you're going to learn, inshallah ta'ala. The first thing that the Prophet used to say was, La ilaha illallah. Okay? Why is this the first thing that a person who's depressed, a person who's distressed should say? Number one, to remind himself that the reason you were created was to worship Allah alone. Because La ilaha illallah means that you worship none but Allah. So the reason you're created is to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla alone and no one else besides Him. And if that's the reason you're created, then you should be what? You should be spending your life, every waking moment from the beginning of the day when it starts to the end, remembering Allah and worshipping Him alone, because that's why you were created. You were not created to go out there what? And fall in love. You were not created to go out there what? And earn your money. You weren't created to go out there what? And play games on your PlayStation. You weren't created to go out there and play football. You can do these things. You can fall in love with a woman and marry her. You can do what? You can go out there and earn your halal money. You can have some time to do sports and activities. But that's not why you were created. That's not what should be your day-to-day basis. And this is to remind you that if you were doing the thing that you were created for, which is to worship Allah alone, you would not have been busy with anything other than Allah. And if Allah was the thing you were busy with, Allah would have never been a reason for your heart to break. But your heart broke because you became busy and you become engulfed and amazed with other than Allah. You became in love with the money, and when the money didn't come, you felt pain. You became in love. You had expectations for what? The job. But when the job didn't come, you became sad. You had expectations for this girl. She had expectations from the guy. He's going to be there for me. He's going to marry me. He's going to love me. He's going to take me home to his mom and dad and show me, to the world and da-da-da. But he let you down because you became busy with other than Allah. You became busy with other than worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why now you're feeling this sadness. I remember I used to also go through, I went through a stage of depression in my life. I went through a stage of depression. I was a person who I had money, I had respect, I had the kind of things that a person would want. And I remember the reason, I changed and I actually started practicing was because a brother came and said a beautiful statement to me. He said, Imran, the reason why you're depressed is because you place your happiness in things that are temporary and things that are deficient. So if you put your love in a car, like a Ferrari, how long is your love going to stay? If you place your happiness in a car like a Ferrari, how long will your happiness stay for? As long as the Ferrari stays. Or, what if the Ferrari stays but it breaks down? Because it's not perfect. Things are deficient, they wear and tear over time. So then my love's going to go with that, right? My love's going to go when the things that I place my happiness and love in goes. And I'm going to be heartbroken. What if I place my love and happiness in money? Then that means my happiness is there as long as the money's there. But when the money goes, what happens? Then my happiness goes. He said the only way to ensure that you remain happy forever and you never get depressed and you never get heartbroken is to place your happiness in Allah, who is the one who will always remain. كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everything except for Allah will be destroyed. Everything will go, only Allah will remain. So you remind yourself, La ilaha illallah. There is none worthy to be worshipped in truth for Allah, except for Allah. Reminding yourself, I'm in this pain. Why? Because maybe I relied too much. Maybe I loved too much. Maybe I wanted too much from other than Allah. And now my heart is feeling pain because I didn't get it. So it's reminding you, leave these things, go back to Allah. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Number two, so before we do that, a quick explanation of what La ilaha illallah means. In the Arabic translation of La ilaha illallah is La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah, which means that there is no one worthy to be worshipped in truth except for Allah. Yes, people worship Jesus and they worship idols and some of them worship themselves. But no one is worthy to be worshipped in truth except for Allah. So if that's what La ilaha illallah means, then what does worship mean? What does ibadah mean? Ibadah, I'll make you understand it with two things. It is that when you do an act to Allah, an act of service, you do it with two things. You do it with complete love for Allah. You say, Allah, I love you completely and utterly. And then what? Also complete humility, complete humiliation, complete humbleness. For example, when I take my head and you take your head and you make sajda, what do? You completely humiliated yourself, have you not? Have you not? Is that not humiliation? Is it humiliation? Is it humiliation? It is, right? Imagine a man came and said, put your head on the ground. It's humiliation. You take the most honourable part of your face and you put it low. So you've completely belittled yourself. But at the same time, you're completely in love with Allah. And that's ibadah. That's ibadah. Now, any time you start to love a human being more than you should, or you start to humble yourself to a human being more than you should, you are now opening yourself up to be heartbroken. You're now opening yourself up to be let down. Not just a human, a thing. It could be money, it could be a house, it could be a car, it could be whatever it is. Family. If you start to, like I'll give an example. For what? For money, what? People belittle themselves. Start hanging around on the blocks, selling drugs. He'll belittle himself. To what? To work under these kuffar who are going to tell you, what do you mean, Jummah? You can't pray Jummah, get out of here, work time. I said, you're humbling yourself, you're humiliating yourself. To a human more than you should. Or you love. Maybe you've got a good job. You don't do it, you pray your prayers on time. And your boss can't tell you nothing. So you don't humiliate yourself to him. But the money, you love the money more than you should. So the boss looks at you and says, listen, if you work this Friday afternoon, don't go to this prayer that you pray every Friday, I'll pay you triple. You say, yeah, no problem. Because you love it more than you love the prayer. You love it more than you love Allah. Or you start to love it more than you should. So then now when you love something more than you should, and you humiliate yourself something more than you should, then you have decreased in your La ilaha illallah, and now you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Or am I talking nonsense? Am I talking nonsense? Am I talking nonsense? Say wallahi. Wallahi billahi. Tallahi. Wa rabbil Kaaba. Good. And then the Prophet ﷺ, what would he say? He would say Al-Azim, which is one of Allah's names. Al-Halim, another name. Al-Azim, by the way, means the mighty. The mighty. Reminding yourself that Allah is mighty. This pain that I'm going through, He has the ability to take it away from me. So why is it that I'm going? You're running back after the girl. You're trying to run after this money. But this money is not going to help you. It's not going to take the pain away. You're running after these people that have broken your heart. These things that have caused you distress. Some of you are anxious because of society. You think, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. I walk out the house, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. That's why I have to wear makeup. That's why I have to what? That's why I have to maybe, not wear the hijab correctly. That's why I have to, you know what? People are going to think, what if I don't smell a certain way? So the woman, she goes out the house wearing perfume. Why? Anxious, anxiety. Because what has she done? She's thinking that people have an ability over her. That she thinks people's words over her are more important than what Allah Azza wa Jalla thinks of her. So you remind yourself, Al-Azim, He is the mighty one. Al-Halim. And then what do you say right after that? You say, La ilaha illallah. One more time you remind yourself. If it didn't sink in, look, why is the Prophet repeating it? If it didn't sink in yet, you were created to worship Allah. And you have been giving time to other than worshipping Allah. And that's why you're upset right now. And that's why you're grieving right now. And that's why you're sad right now. Okay, someone died. It hurts. It's painful, I know. Like in Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That person belonged to Allah and you belong to Allah. And Allah will take us all back when it's time. So why do you now not focus on your time? Mom, Dad, they're gone. It's painful, it's sad, make dua for them. You will see them in Al-Jannah, inshallah. You will see them in Al-Jannah, inshallah ta'ala. Someone you love has gone, no problem. Work on yourself so that you can meet them in Al-Jannah. But you've been busying yourself too much with remembering them that you have forgot. And to remember Allah the way that He deserves to be remembered. So the Prophet said again, La ilaha illallah, reminding you one more time. Then he said, who is Allah? He describes Him, Rabbul Arsh al-Azim. He is the Lord of the mighty throne. In this context of depression, why would the Prophet remind himself at the time of distress that Allah is the Lord of the mighty throne? Why would he do this? You know why? Because when you're depressed, you start to seek help from other places. You're sick, you're in distress, so let me go to the doctor. You're heartbroken, you keep sending text messages to the girl, she keeps airing you, bruv. You're such a neat, you keep sending her these messages. She does not care, bruv, she's already with another man. But you're a geek, like you're sending her messages. You just keep preying her, her social media. And she's looking at you, oh my God, he's stalking me, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Sisters, again, they lose respect. Please, you said you were going to marry me. We're supposed to be together forever. Why did you do this to me? Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want help from everyone but Allah Azza wa Jal. So the Prophet's reminding you, these people, they don't have no power. This pain you're feeling, they can't take, the doctor can't take it away. Your family members can't take it away. Even the person who died, if they were to come out of their grave, they would not be able to take this away. The anxiety that you feel, if every person that walked on the street who you're anxious of was to look at you and say, we accept you. It's okay, you don't have to stress. It would not be enough to take the anxiety away. Because they don't have ability. Allah has ability. And to remind you how much ability Allah has, Allah, the Prophet said, Rabbul Arshil Azim. He's the Lord of the mighty throne. Now, what do you know about the throne of Allah? What do you know about Allah's throne? Let me tell you about Allah's throne. You see this entire universe that is so big that it has inside of it millions of galaxies. It's so big that there are black holes everywhere. But they have just this year, for the first time ever, taken a picture of a black hole because they're too far away. And after talking about them and lying to me as if they saw pictures of them back in 1996, when I was in year 2, 3 or whatever it was, reading them books with black holes, I was deceived. I found out they only saw a black hole this year. Why? Because the universe is that big. Now this big universe, no matter how big it is, the Prophet said if you compare this to the heaven above it, this is like a ring in a desert. I have a question for you. Can you see a ring with a naked eye? If I threw it into the Sahara Desert, can you see it? You can't? Because of the enthusiasm with which you shook your head. It's for you. And in case the brother doesn't give you evil eye, because he didn't say Allahumma barik. I'm joking. If someone gets a chocolate, say Allahumma barik. Say it. Say Allahumma barik. Barakallahu feek. The point I'm making here is that the first heaven, the first sky, which is the first universe, if you compare it to the universe above, to the sky above, it's like a ring in a desert. Then that one, the Prophet said, the second to the third is like a ring in a desert. And the fourth to the fifth is like a ring in a desert. And the fifth to the sixth is like a ring in a desert. And the sixth to the seventh is like a ring in a desert. So how big is the seventh heaven? How big is it? Massive! Can you imagine how big it is? It's massive! And then Allah's throne is above that, and Allah's throne is bigger than the seventh heaven. It's Allah's greatest creation. There's nothing bigger than it. And Allah, who created these heavens that are that massive, and the throne that encompasses it all, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa, the one who, He is the merciful one, He rose above that throne. He went and He rose above that throne. The Prophet said, He is the Lord of the mighty throne. He is the one who has the ability. The Arsh encompasses the whole of the seven heavens. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla is above the Arsh. So how mighty is Allah? And this little pain that you feel, and I know it's big, I'm not trying to belittle it and make it sound like, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I know you might be going through some pain, but this is nothing for Allah. Allah can make it go in a second. Allah Azza wa Jalla can make it go in a second. So to remind yourself, Rabbu al-Arsh al-Azim. He's the Lord of the mighty throne. And then the Prophet said again, La ilaha illallah. He reminds you one more time, if the point didn't get into your head, La ilaha illallah. That's why you were created. Worship Allah alone. Again reminding you, you are feeling this pain because you haven't been worshipping Allah the way He's supposed to. You haven't been remembering Him the way He's supposed to. You haven't been praying your Fajr. Or you haven't been waking up and doing the Sunnah before the Fajr. And if you have, you haven't been praying your Witr. And if you've been praying your Witr, you haven't been praying Tahajjud before the Witr. And if you've been doing all of that, then you haven't been praying Fajr in the Masjid. And if you've been praying Fajr in the Masjid, then you have not been doing your dhikr after Fajr. Wallahi, I met a brother who was in love with some girl. One girl, he said to me, in love with her. This believing woman, he was in love with her. In love with her. This woman was so, it finished him so much. He was taking cocaine to get over her. He couldn't get over her. He said, one brother told me, go pray Fajr in the Masjid. He said, I started praying Fajr in the Masjid day 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, I remember the 14th Fajr Salah, 14th, 1-4, I prayed in the Masjid. He said, I woke up, my pain was gone. He said, nothing could take this pain away from me. I prayed 14 prayers in the Masjid. I gave myself to Allah. My heart filled with the love of Allah. And the love of this woman just got left, got emptied. And now I'm happy. I'm so happy. And he was so happy that it was annoying me. I was like, bro, calm down, relax. He's on the train just talking, right? Just happy. I'm like, bro, relax. Right? On the train, right? We've got beards on that. People are going to think something nice good. You know, when Muslims are happy, they think, oh, why is he happy? He thinks he's going to go Jannah. Now me is, Hur al-Ain or something. That's the way some of their minds think. And there's nothing wrong with Jannah and Hur al-Ain, right, brothers? But it's just that We're not on any crazy stuff, right? Alhamdulillah. And then the Prophet, after saying that one more time, he reminded you of Allah's might by saying, Rabbul Arsh al-Kareem. That's the first dhikr. My brothers and my sisters, if you do this, inshallah you will find, my brothers and my sisters, pay attention. If you do this dhikr, you will find it will take the pain away. But like what I say, you have to memorize it, read it during the pain, and remember, ponder. As you're saying La ilaha illallah, you're reminding yourself, I'm feeling this pain because I've been occupied with other than La ilaha illallah. And when you're looking for a solution, you remember Rabbul Arsh al-Azim. He's the Lord of the mighty throne. Reminding you what? That He is the one who's got the ability to take the pain away. Okay, good. The second dhikr. This is one where the Prophet ﷺ taught a woman called Asma. Sisters, pay attention. Because this right here is the dua that you read when you're going through heartbreak. Sisters, they get very easily heartbroken. Obviously, I know I keep saying, brothers, heartbroken. If I keep saying sisters, they might, get really upset and cry or whatever have you. I'm joking, please. Feminists are going to go out there and start dashing stones at me. It was a joke. Can we not joke with sisters? Can we not joke? We can joke, my brother, right? Because you agreed with me, I'm going to give you more as well. Inshallah. Okay, what is the second dhikr? And Asma bint Umays radiyallahu ta'ala anha قالت قال لي رسول الله. The Prophet ﷺ came to Asma bint Umays and he said to her, ألا أعلمك كلمات تقولينهن. The Prophet said, should I not teach you? He said, Ya Asma, should I not teach you words that you should say عند الكرب أو في الكرب, when you are in a state of distress, that when you're in a state of pain, you've got heartbroken, you're depressed, you've got what? Distress, grief. I'm going to teach you some words that you can say in this situation. And then the Prophet taught her to say, Allah, Rabbi, la ushriku bihi shay'a. The Prophet taught her to say this. Again, why did the Prophet tell her to say this? My sisters, when you're heartbroken, my brothers, if you are in pain because of some girl, sisters, if you're in pain because of some guy, or you're in pain because of whatever, wallahi, this dhikr is so powerful. Whenever you're in that pain, just say this, let this come out of you. Allah! Allah's name. Why is this important? Because remember we said, La ilaha illallah was the first one, right? Like, what does Allah mean? Allah is the one that you worship alone. And the one that deserves to be worshipped. That's His name. It means the one who is what? Dhu al-uluhiyya, the one who possesses the right to be worshipped alone. So when you say Allah, you're reminding yourself, I've loved someone more than Allah. I've given some time and effort to someone more than Allah. I've depended on someone more than Allah. What did Allah say? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَتَّخِذُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. Allah said, from mankind, there are people, they have taken others as equals when it comes to loving them. They love them the way they should love Allah. Then Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. But the ones who believe in Allah, أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. They are intense in their love for Allah. So if you love Allah and you worship Him alone, if you love Allah, you worship Him alone, you love Him. And you love Him more than you love anyone else. And you rely upon Him more than anyone else. And you ask Him more than anyone else. And you seek Him and His pleasure more than anyone else. So the Prophet said to Asma, Ya Asma, when you're in a state of distress, and if you're heartbroken, say Allah. And the Prophet said to her one more time, Allah. Say it a second time. Why? Repeat it. Repeat it, because the first time you said it, maybe it didn't have an effect. Maybe it didn't touch your heart. Maybe your heart did not fill up with the love of Allah. So remind yourself one more time, Allah. Like, who is this Allah? Who is He? Who is this one that you worship? Then the Prophet said, Rabbi. Say Rabbi. What is Rabbi? My Lord. What is a Lord? A Lord is the one who created you. He is the one who provided for you. He is the one who controls you. He is the one who blesses you. He is the one who allows harm to come to you and removes the harm away from you. And if He is the Lord, that means what are you? What are you? What are you? If He's the Lord, what are you? Slave. I'm the slave. So you remind yourself, Allah. Yeah, that's the one I should love. Allah. Again, He's the one I should be giving my all to, my worship to, my ibadah to. And then what? Who is He again? Rabbi. He's the one who made me. He gave me these eyes, and I use these eyes to look at haram. He's the one who gave me these hands, and I use these hands to make haram money. He's what? He's the one who gave me these legs, these arms, this whatever it is that I'm feeling sadness and pain and sorrow over. It did not give me what Allah gave me. It hasn't benefited me the way Allah has benefited me. Why am I giving any time and attention to these things other than Allah. So you say, Rabbi, and then you say to yourself, La ushriku bihi shay'a. You say, I am not going to do any shirk with Allah. Ever. In any way, shape or form. Shirk means to worship someone besides Allah. To worship someone besides Allah. To worship someone besides Allah. And we said worship is on what? 2 pillars. Complete love and complete humiliation. By the way, if you're wondering where I got that from, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahmahullah ta'ala, is a book called Risalatul Ubudiyya, a treatise on servitude to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And he mentioned it in there. That the 2 pillars upon which ibadah, worship stands, is complete love and complete humiliation. So you say, Allah, I loved someone more than I loved you. Or maybe I loved them more than I should have loved them. As in I started to lift them up a bit too much. And I humbled myself to them a bit too much. So you remind yourself, La ushriku bihi shay'a. By the way, here, La ushriku bihi shay'a, this in the Arabic language, it has a meaning, which is that I will not do any shirk, not big or small. Not big or small, not even a tiny bit of shirk. Even the size of an atom, I won't do it. Because every time you find yourself loving something, wanting something, relying upon something, asking for something more than Allah Azza wa Jal, bring yourself back, because it may be that you're getting close to the boundaries of shirk. And every time you get closer to shirk and far away from tawheed, the pain, you're vulnerable. Look, let me ask you a question to really drive the point home. To show you, look, pay attention. Imagine this is a glass made out of glass, a very valuable glass. Now, if this glass is valuable, I tell you it's an antique, and it's worth what? £100,000. And if I put this on the edge of the table, what's likely to happen to it? It might fall and break, right? But I already gave you chocolate, right? I'm going to give you another one. Inshallah. You put your hand up first. I can't be unfair. Come on, buddy, you have to work for it, inshallah. Allah barik. If I take this and I put it on the edge of the table, what's going to happen? He already answered it. I was just repeating it. It's going to what? It's going to break, right? It's going to fall, it's going to break. Now, when this falls and breaks because I, like an idiot, put it on the edge of the table, who do I blame? The table or myself? I blame myself. Because I placed the valuable possession in a place where it was not safe. So I'm to blame. So then when you take your heart and you give it to a human being, or you give it to a thing, and then that thing lets you down and breaks your heart, why do you blame her, my bro, for leaving you? Or why do you blame him, my sister, for dumping you? It's haram, it's haram anyway, or divorcing you. Why do you blame him? You gave your heart to someone. It's like me placing something valuable on the edge of the table. The heart is too precious to be in the hands of a human. The human can't carry the weight of the heart. The heart wants perfection. The heart wants so much. It wants that which only Allah can give it. The human being can't. So the human's trying to carry the heart. He's trying to carry it for you, but then he just lets go. And then it breaks and it shatters. He says, listen, babes, peace. Demands are too much, darling. Got to keep it stepping. Blame yourself. Because you gave your heart in a place to a person that couldn't carry it. Does that make sense? That was the second dhikr. The third dhikr, the Prophet and we'll move quickly. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to make. The Prophet said, "Da'watul makrubi," that the dua for a person to make when he or she is in a state of distress is what? Allahumma rahmataka arju. Say, oh Allah, your mercy is what I'm hoping for. فلا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين وأصلح لي شأني كله لا إله إلا أنت. Perfect for me all of my prayer, my affairs, all my situations. La ilaha illa ant. Again, stop ending with Tawheed. Again, quickly, just to reinforce the point of Tawheed. When the Prophet said, what? Allahumma rahmataka arju. You know that sentence is actually not how it generally is in the Arabic language. It should have been Allahumma arju rahmatak. Oh Allah, it is your mercy that I am hoping for. Or it is, you say, Allah, I'm hoping for your mercy. That's Allahumma arju rahmatak. Right? But then when you say Allahumma rahmataka arju, you flip the order. And the meaning that comes out from here is that Allah, it is only and only and only your mercy that I want. I don't want anyone else to feel sorry for me. I don't want any kindness from anyone else. I don't want any mercy from anyone else. I don't want any pity from anyone else. Allah, it's only you. It's only you. And at the moment you say that, you say, لا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. You say, Allah please, please, do not leave me alone for even the blinking of an eye. Allah, do not abandon me to my own self. Don't let me deal with myself. Don't let me be in control of myself for even the blink of an eye. Why? Because if Allah was to leave you to yourself for the blinking of an eye, how would you make your own eye blink? Do you make your eye blink? Do you make your heart beat? Do you make your lungs breathe? Do you make what? The nerves inside of your nerve endings operate and send messages back and forth from your brain so that you can have feeling? Do you do this? No, you don't. So what would you do if Allah left you to yourself and said, blink, make yourself blink. And every moment you have to remind yourself, blink. And every moment you have to remind yourself, wait, beat, heart, beat. Like the way I have to move my hands. Imagine I had to make my heart beat. I had to make my lungs breathe. I had to make the nerve endings work every time I wanted to do something. Like Allah, He doesn't leave you to yourself. So you say, Ya Allah, لا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. Don't leave me to myself even for the blinking of an eye. But in some of us, what is it? Here's the problem. You think that you're okay without Allah. So what? You try to make your situation work in your own way by going against the commands of Allah. Only to find out that whatever it is that you did, it ended up breaking your heart and left you in pain, shattered and tattered in tears. So you remind yourself, Allah, don't leave me alone. I need you, Ya Allah. Allah, I'm in need of you. Allah, I'm in so much need of you that I can't even be left alone for one blink. One blink, I can't be left alone. I need you that much, Ya Rabbi. But like, sister, if you believe that when you say it, then show it. Mention Allah's name all the time. Pray your prayers. Pray your sunnah. Give your sadaqah. Do fast Monday, Thursday. Or fast the fasting of Dawood every other day. It's winter time. Why are we not praying tahajjud? Why we don't wake up for qiyamul layl? It is so easy. Wallahi. The Fajr Salah kicks in at 6:20 in London. I don't know, Coventry, you know where it is here. But it should be around about the same time. 6:20 is when it kicks in. You could wake up at just what? 6 a.m., pray witr and make dua in the last day of the night, but you choose to not do it. Some of you are up at that time and you choose to not do it. Wallahi, lost. Wallahi, lost. Prevented is a person who's awake at night, watching movies, on the phone, talking to his friends, watching YouTube videos, senseless on Instagram, and they are awake at a time when Allah, He accepts the dua, and they don't even lift up their hands to make dua. It's because they don't really believe that they're in need. Like if you believe you're in need, you'll constantly ask Him, Allahu Azza wa Jal. And then what is the dua that you make? You say, Aslih li sha'ni kullahu. Allah, perfect for me and rectify for me all of my affairs. All of them. Allah, I want you to perfect my situation. I want you to fix my situation. You correct my heart. You do all of that for me. And then you say, La ilaha illa ant. There is none worthy to be worshipped in truth except for you. That was the third dhikr. You know when you rely upon someone, so this dhikr is teaching you to rely on Allah. This dhikr is teaching you to rely on Allah and not to rely on anyone else except for Allah Azza wa Jal. That's what He's teaching you, right? وَلَا تَكِلْنِي إِلَى نَفْسِي. Do not do, Allah, don't let me do tawakkul of myself. Tawakkul, we understand it means reliance, right? Allah, don't leave me to have tawakkul over myself. No, Allah, don't leave me to have tawakkul over myself. I want to have only tawakkul of you. But then when me and you, we try to rely upon other than Allah, that's when the problem comes. Because the thing that you're relying upon, it will let you down. It won't be there for you. That's why Allah Azza wa Jalla said, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبَدًا. Is Allah Azza wa Jalla not enough, not sufficient for His slave? Allah said, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever relies upon Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah is sufficient for him. Allah said, قُلْ حَسْبِي Allah. Allah said, say, Allah is enough for me. عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلُوا الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. Upon Him rely those who rely. Look, when Ibrahim alayhi salam was being thrown into the fire, and Jibreel came to him and he said, do you need any help? I mean, who here would say, yes, Jibreel, can you help me? Like, I'm kind of in trouble. You say that, right? He said, can I get some help, please, Jibreel? The archangel just came down to help me, and I'm being dashed face first into a fire. Please help. What did Ibrahim say? Go on. He said, I want Allah. He said, Hasbi Allah. Maltesers? He said, I want Allah. Hasbi Allahu. Ni'mal wakeel. I want Allah. I want to rely on Allah. I don't want you. Jibreel, barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you. But I don't need you, Jibreel. I need your king. I need the Rabb of Jibreel. I need the king of Jibreel. I need the one who's greater than Jibreel. I don't need you. Why do I need you, Ya Jibreel? I need my Lord Allah. And what did Allah say? Allah said to the fire, "Oh fire, be calm and peaceful for Ibrahim." And the fire that would burn and swallow people, it took Ibrahim, and Ibrahim was relaxing inside of it. That's what happens when you rely on Allah. Brothers and sisters, when you rely upon Allah, you will not be scared of anyone. Rather, people be scared of you. Thinking, wow, this guy's serious, man. Serious guy. But then when you rely upon other than Allah, you rely upon other things other than Allah, then what will happen? You will be scared of everything. And you know when you're scared of everything, if something that you fear comes to you and says, hey, I'll help you, then you seek help. And that's when people, they start to rely upon things other than Allah, they fall into shirk. For example, wearing ta'weezes, wearing amulets, in Somali they call it hirsi, right? Hirsi, you know what hirsi is, right? It's the little amulets that the people wear. The amulets, the ta'weezes, they tell you, oh, Qur'an's in there. There's no Qur'an in there. And even if it's Qur'an in there, it's still haram to wear. Because the Qur'an is something you wear, something that you read, you recite it. Or you listen to it. You do both. But you don't wear it. What evidence do you have to wear it? You don't wear the Qur'an. But like the Prophet, what did the Prophet say? Man ta'allaqa tamimatan. What did the Prophet say? Another hadith, the Prophet said, Man ta'allaqa shay'an wukila ilayh. Whoever hangs something, who wears something, they are relying upon it now. So you wear a ta'weez, you wear one of those things, or one of those, you know what, those Turkish eyes for evil eye, and you think it's going to take evil eye away from me. You're relying on that. You're not relying on Allah. You don't rely on Allah. What? In another hadith, the Prophet said, Man ta'allaqa tamimatan fala atamma Allahu lah. The Prophet said, anyone who wears a ta'weez, the Prophet said, may Allah not give him what he wants. Allah not give him. So you're wearing a ta'weez, what? So your marriage stays together. The Prophet said, may Allah not give you what you want. Your marriage is going to break now, because the Prophet made dua against it. You wear a ta'weez because you think it's going to bring you money. The Prophet said, what? Man ta'allaqa tamimatan fala atamma Allahu lah. May Allah not give it to you, you're going to be broke. You wear one, you go to the sheikh, the wali, the saint, the peer. He says, what? Here, take this for health. Take it, you're going to be healthy. You're not going to be sick. You're wearing it. You're relying upon other than Allah. The Prophet said, فَلَا أَتَمَّ اللَّهُ لَا. Or كما قال, Allah is not going to give it to you. So you're going to be sick. You're going to be depressed. So you become, so it shows you a lesson here. When you rely on other than Allah, you will suffer. Because you're only supposed to rely upon Allah Azza wa Jal. And then the fourth dhikr, and I may not go into the fifth one because I don't want it to become long. And I think we'll just stop here on the fourth dhikr bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Or should we just stop here? Blood, where did energy come from? We just woke up. Blood, you know what it means? It means family, like as in blood. It's not a disrespectful word. I saw some people, and maybe commentary, you guys don't understand the language we speak. People say, yo, blood. It's like, you know how to say blood is thicker than water? Like, we're blood, we're family. I'm trying to say we're family. Did Allah not say, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً? You guys are ready? You're awake, huh? MashaAllah, okay. Sisters don't want to hear it, man. They're not showing no support. Let's dash some chocolate. Listen, can I get... who's the youngest here? Come on, you're not the youngest here. Absolutely. Yeah, can you give some chocolates to the sisters? Do me a favor. Just take the whole box there, and you can take one. Just say, sisters, we want you to wake up, please. I want you to say that, yeah? Say, sisters, please wake up. Sisters, please don't go to sleep. Can you say that, please?
Yo,
what's going on, bro?
yeah, I got the thing.
What? How much is in there?
20 mil.
You being serious?
Yeah, hold that. It's yours now.
You guys are probably wondering how this dusty looking camera is worth 20 mil. Let me break it down for you. About 6 years ago, some brothers and sisters gave us about £600 in order for us to purchase this camera to make da'wah videos. 6 years later, alhamdulillah, we made well over 1,000 videos and we reached over 20 million plus views on YouTube alone without taking into account all the other social media platforms that we're on. So those people at the time when they gave that money, I don't think they had any idea that £600 that they gave was gonna go towards a camera that would reach 20 million people who watch videos and they changed their lives after having watched them, who watched these videos and started praying, who watched these videos and accepted Islam. Can you imagine if they were sincere, the kind of reward that they're gonna get on the day of judgment, inshallah ta'ala? But now here's the issue. This camera is 6 years old. I mean, there's cracks in it, it's breaking, it's well past its sell-by date. We're trying to take things up to the next level. In order to do that, we need a new camera. In fact, we need more than one. We need more equipment. We need to actually hire a bigger media team. But all of this stuff, it comes with expenses, it comes with costs. And over the next 6 years, inshallah ta'ala, we're looking to reach well over 20 million people. Now look, I'm gonna be direct with you. I'm about to ask you for some money to put towards the da'wah for the sake of Allah. But before I do that, I wanna tell you some figures, some statistics to show you the kind of reward that you might be looking at, inshallah, if you come with sincerity and the donation. Just take a look at the kind of numbers we have over the last 90 days. Over the last 90 days, we received over 1.4 million views on our YouTube channel alone. That's 466,000 views every 30 days. That's 15,555 views per day. That's right. You could be in your sleep, sleeping 6, 7, 8 hours a day, however much you sleep, and just earning a reward, inshallah ta'ala. Why? Because you gave a bit of money that went towards a very big project. Now, with that 15,000 odd views a day, if you average that out across 6 years, which is the lifespan of this camera, do you know how much reward that is, inshallah? That's 34,065,450 views. I don't know about you, but that kind of reward, I need that in my life. This is not the kind of opportunity that we should be passing up, especially if you've got sins. The Prophet ﷺ said that giving charity wipes away sins the way that water, it extinguishes fire. So look, say no more, inshallah ta'ala. I don't feel like I should have to convince you towards giving to a project like this anymore. If you want that kind of reward, you want the da'wah to spread, you want la ilaha illallah to spread across the internet, inshallah ta'ala, then you want to give at the link below to this project. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Remember, 20 mil, yeah, and that's on YouTube alone.